Hi, my name's Emma Hollard. I'm just at a gallery opening at Untether. It's the first, it's the launch of the gallery Untether here in the Geelong Arcade, Centrepoint Arcade, and I've got some work in there, so I'm pretty excited to be exhibiting some work. I share a studio space with Vicky Cliffholes, and we're having just a wonderful time bringing some art into the heart of Geelong. Thank you. Bye.
Geelong's a good place, and you can trust a lot of people, even if like when you're at the shops and like with your friends, and someone asks you like if you need something, you can always like know that you can either trust them or like if like you need to, there's always people around that you can trust, that you can like go up to and tell them what's happening and stuff like that if you need help. And there's I don't know how many schools there are, but I go to one of them, and the schools are very cool. And we get to go on a bunch of excursions in Geelong, and there's a lot of cool stuff in Geelong.
Geelong is like living in Disneyland. It's a great place. Shut the door, Luke. People are listening. It's a great place to live. I've been here since 1975, and I brought my family down here. And my two children, Rachel and Luke, and we're at her exhibition at the moment, listening to the phone and everything that she set up. Luke's out there, just staring into the wilderness. I'm just going to wave to him. He's waving back, so it's great. I used to be a horse trainer, and then first off I was a jockey, then I was a horse trainer, and then I own a horse called Howling Wolf, and he's a great horse. He's won 24 races and seconds and thirds. I just retired him the other day because now he's 11 years of age. I bought him when he was 4, and I retired him because he's as sound as the day I bought him, and I was so proud to be able to keep him sound. And now I'm heading towards retirement, so we're going to retire together. Okay, catch you later.
My name's Caitlin, and I live in Torquay, which is on the Surf Coast Highway, some of the best surfing waves in Australia. And at the moment, I'm 33. Laura?
I'm Laura. I'm 7 years old, and Torquay is the best place to live. And Geelong Library is so much fun, and it's cool how it has a lot of levels.
Geelong High School was the very first secondary college to open in Geelong, dating back to 1910. But it was in 1915 that they moved to their present site, the Eastern Gardens, on the corner of Garden and Ryrie Streets. Of course, the original building, built back then, still stands today. However, it was considerably modified during the renovations of 2018 and 19. I attended the school from 2014 to 2019. Of course, if the school's so old, you'd expect there to be a few ghost stories, but how many were actually true? One of the former principals was in his office one day, this is back in the mid-1960s, which was down in the ground floor of the Kroger building, right underneath the iconic Ryrie Street facade, when he suffered from a heart attack and unfortunately didn't survive. Yet despite this, people still claim that he roams the corridors to this day. Staff members who have been at school late at night, cleaners locking up, have seen a figure or shadow walking past the door, potentially making sure that the site remains clean, no trouble's been made, Back in 1965, a major fire broke out and almost wiped out this main building. While no one was killed in this, some say that the principal still could have been keeping an eye on things, making sure there wasn't another repeat of things. The old library used to be down the ground floor, but vaguely before they moved in 2019. And it wasn't uncommon for the librarian just to look up the staircase to see some sort of a figure, just like a face, maybe of a former student or something. Once seen, it would disappear. They decided to affectionately name this apparition as Neville, after Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter. Of course, Neville always seemed to appear whenever there had been major changes or disruptions. It wasn't uncommon for that building to be washed out and flooded. Anyway, it's interesting to see as these stories will continue in the new generation at the school as it takes on another chapter of life following its rebuild.
I live in Belmont, and it's a very convenient place to live in because it's close to the shops and amenities such as the library, which is very important to me. And it enables me to commute everywhere I need to on my bike and public transport. So only 10 minutes away on the bike from South Geelong Station, and an easy train ride to Melbourne from there. It's Belmont's got a lovely community of sharing neighbours. We have grow carts, which grew and were very active over the lockdowns. It meant people could still share their produce and access stuff without having to break the social distancing laws. And I like the slower pace of living here. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for asking. I was in Geelong in the 70s to the early 90s, and it used to be called Sleepy Hollow, and I was a designer, and I did lots of fashion shows in Geelong and had my own label here. And it's really, really, really great to have a chat with you today. Bye.
Geelong is a new experience, very interesting. Let's see if there's as much going on as I say there is. Otherwise I'll run away back to Wangaratta. Cheers. Bye. That was Frank speaking.
The pickles on the ceiling as you went underneath the McDonald's in Murrible Street.
I like relaxing and also going to the beach, and also maybe doing some chess games and even doing some basketball and all these other things. Bye. And Minecraft. Bye.
I remember Spring Ding Festival when they used to have bed racing down Murrible Street. That was heaps of fun. And the carnival show used to come to Geelong, and the carnival on the boardwalk, that was heaps of fun too. Yeah, great memories.
Well, one particular story would have been the 1 in 50-year storm that occurred on the 27th of January back in 2016. On this particular day, my mum and I were intending on travelling down to Anglesey, but we'd already heard some thunder rolling in the distance. As we were driving up along, all they were talking about on the radio was a huge supercell storm coming across the Otways from the Colac region, and getting back home to Leopold, there was not a drop of rain at all on the ground. But what had ended up happening was the rest of Geelong hadn't gotten off so easily. The Geelong Advertiser referred to it as a once-in-50-year storm, which, mind you, seems to happen every couple of years. Anyway, there was heaps of flooding all over the place. The front page of the Addy had pictures of cars which were submerged in the water underneath the Gordon Avenue Bridge near the Geelong Railway Station. Johnson's Park, of course, was always flooding as it used to be a swamp. And even Geelong High School got washed out. That day with most of the buildings leaking, while then school getting postponed until the next Monday, which was a bonus considering it was nearly the end of holidays anyway. Common along the Barwon River have also been underwater in previous times. So that's just a quick talking about some storms we've had over at Geelong in the past couple of years.
Hi, my name is Lily and I go to Lethal Primary School, currently in grade 6. I love Geelong. I love the beaches. I love especially Eastern Beach. It's very nice. Geelong is very Slay's soul sister. And my school's very good. Just outside Geelong. The circus is really good. It's very fun. Geelong's just an amazing place. I love the little Kmart in Geelong's good. Not gonna lie. Very slay, very apt.
Hello, my name is Carolyn, and I've recently acquired a space here in Creative Geelong, and I'm super excited. This is the most amazing group of artists, and the vibe is fantastic, and I'm so happy to see Centrepoint Arcade brought back to life, because I remember coming here when I was 18, 19, and there was a sandwich shop and a tailor, and suddenly Market Square and Westfield took over, and Centrepoint just died. And it's amazing seeing it being brought back to life with all of this creative energy. So thank you, Creative Geelong. It's amazing. Onwards and upwards. Bye.
I remember National Hotel in Melbourne Street. I used to DJ at. It was a lot of fun times. It was a good place for bands to play in the city. There's not many places for bands to play in the city, so yeah, it was good times, good memories.
We arrived as immigrants in 1964. Excuse me, and it's the first 6 months we stayed in Torquay. In a rented place, and we all got jobs, except my younger sister. 6 months later, we moved into Geelong. We moved into a rented place in Noah Lane. I was 17-year-old and worked at International Harvester. And I used to, after work, I'd ride my bike down and watch my house being built, which was a lot better house than we had when we came from Belfast in Northern Ireland. We lived in a bungalow, which were provided by the government for returned soldiers after the Second World War. But we loved it. We lived there for 10 years. As a kid, I loved it. And my dad was looking for a better life in Australia, and that's what we got. Unfortunately, my dad passed away, had a major stroke in 1977. He died on the way to the hospital in the ambulance. He was only 53, and I saw it was a bit of a wake-up call for the family. As for myself, I've travelled overseas a lot. I've went to London in 1970. I lived in Perth for a while, drove across the Nullarbor in 1970 with a mate. Stayed in Perth for 6 months, worked for Shell, came back, missed my family and friends in Geelong, back to work in International Harvest. I worked at Moores, which is the old Brighton Hitchcocks. It's a great place to come back to. Australia is a great place to come back to.
There's always been a few eyesores, or perhaps culture references, which have popped up in the newspaper and the radio over the years. One particular one was for Ritz, located on the corner of, I believe, Ballerine and Corio Streets in Geelong. Once a fancy old hotel, it had been closed down after a fire gutted it in the 70s, and of course, the building was still standing, albeit in quite a dilapidated state. It was always making the newspaper, as new people would buy it, planning to do it up, and it would go bankrupt. But there was another thing that everyone used to like to make fun of as well. And it was none other than George's Rugs. George's Rugs was located in the old Belcher's building on the corner of Ryrie and Moorabool Streets. For as long as I can remember, going back 20 years now, the place was always having a closing down sale, yet never actually seemed to close down. The rugs were the only thing holding the place together. So another thing that was quite common in Geelong was none other than the Breakwater Bridge. So this would be a common thing on the front page of the Geelong Advertiser.
Geelong is a really great place. It has lots of good shops and a lovely community. Goodbye.